This is Virtual's Chess Noob, learning and fun with chess. I'm going to show you this game today, which is the Englund Gambit Stockholm Variation. And I was really excited when I saw this in a match from a historical reason. Have you ever wondered why the Englund Gambit is named the Englund Gambit? You possibly haven't. It's named after Fritz Englund, a Swedish chess enthusiast, chess player. He didn't actually develop the opening. There's a fairly macabre reason why it was named after him. In the 1930s, I think, he liked the opening so much that he sponsored a themed chess tournament where everyone had to play a game with this opening sequence. So the Stockholm Variation is 1d4, of course, and of course what we now think of as the Englund Gambit would be 5, captures knight to c6, knight f3, queen to e7. So this is also what we now think of as the main line, but now queen to d5. So in the tournament in the 1930s, sponsored by Fritz Englund, everyone had to play this opening. And a really interesting thing here is that after this tournament, not long afterwards, Fritz Englund died. No. And so in the sort of media, the tournament was named Englund's Gambit Tournament, as in his Gambit Tournament. And of course, the name stuck as the Englund Gambit, referring to the first couple of moves. The interesting thing about the Englund Gambit in terms of sort of 1d4 and then e5 is that that's been played and developed by various chess players actually sort of decades before, including by Charlick in the 1800s, who was the second Australian chess champion. All right, so I had this game when I saw this. I was super excited. And the move here is f6. So immediately asking the question, what are they going to do with the pawn? Pretty much they have to take, and then you get to now take back with the knight with a bit of tempo. And white here decides to retreat their queen all the way back to d1. Now in this position, Stockfish gives the evaluation at about plus 0.5. So I'm down a point of material, but I'm better developed. So knight's out, queen. You know, you could argue the queen is problematic here, but one of the themes of the Englund Gambit is that the queen on the e file often ends up pinning the e-pawn, white's e-pawn, to the king, and it becomes quite useful because this e-pawn is really quite hampered in terms of its role for central control. So next move, now I push d5. They sort of play a waiting move, and this was a inaccuracy. In fact, at this position, I have now gained a little bit of an advantage, minus 0.4. And this is one of the things about the Englund Gambit. People often sort of make the claim certainly at a professional level, it's losing. But people often say, even at the beginner intermediate level, oh, once you learn the Englund Gambit trap lines, it's no good. It's not true. The Englund Gambit can be just played like any other gambit. You gain rapid development. You move the game away from 1d4 games, which is often what white's trying to play. It's often really good. So bishop out, potentially, again, stopping them from developing, pushing forward that pawn. They move anyway. Of course, that knight is now pinned to the queen. I now get to long castle. Look at this massive development advantage over white. They sort of attack my bishop. That's fine. With my advantage in development, let's whack. So they take back. And here I played knight to d4. Now, Stockfish thought that this other move was better, but I don't think that was an inaccuracy. I think this move is a sneaky, tricky move because look at this. I'm also attacking the c2 pawn. So this practically forces white to move the queen all the way back, and then I can retreat my knight. And basically, what have I achieved? White has moved their queen 4 times. So here we go, queen backs. This is move 11. They've moved their queen 4 times, and the queen is still on d1, pushing ahead my advantage in development and tempo. And of course, this pawn is pinned. So here I decide to bring my sort of knight back, obviously under attack by the queen. They push a pawn. That's actually quite a good move. So I think fianchettoing that bishop is correct. I now push because, you know, here, that's perfectly good for me. That was one of the reasons why I moved my knight back. Queen moves again. I now push my knight forward. And this was a mistake because white has this very powerful move potential, which I didn't see in game. However, what I did see, almost as a bit of a trap,
It's a trap!
is that I thought white might think that they can now take that pawn with a discovered attack on the knight. And that's what they did. But this was a blunder. Really bad blunder. Minus 10.5, because I can now take back with the knight, discovered defense of that knight, and attacking the queen. Very difficult for white to navigate. Look at these pieces. They're all still on the back rank. Absolutely incredible. King stuck in the center, and consider 2 fully open center files controlled by my pieces. It's a devastating position for white. They moved the queen to c4, which was a mistake. Now there's actually a mate line here, and that mate line, which I didn't see in game, is playing the knight to f3 with check, and here the king is forced to move. Here I have now a discovered check. The knights defend each other, attack on the queen, and basically white is forced to, you know, sacrifice the queen. Basically a spite move to prevent immediate checkmate, because that is now check again. King, no options now, and mate. So that was a mate in 4. So I didn't see that line. Instead, what I saw was a discovered check with an attack on the queen. So there we go, discovered check, queen forced back, and captures. So trade the queen for the knight. Absolute bargain, really nice. And at the end of that, that's even pinned to the king. So here, really, it's a matter of consolidating. I don't necessarily play the most accurately here, but I don't really have to. I just need to make sure I don't blunder something, use my advantage to create a mating net. So here we go, attacking. Okay, so they have to defend. Easy, attack that knight. They push forward, that's fine. I just move my queen out of the way. Adjacent, that can no longer attack the queen. They try to give a check, that's fine. King slides out of the way. They move here with defense, that's fine. Here I decide to just sacrifice that knight, get rid of that pawn, because they have to take back with the king, and now that is pinning that knight. Very, very nice. They can do that, but that's fine. I now have the open F file. Check. King moves. Check. King moves. Check. Infiltrating. So basically, I'm just going to work out a mating net with these 2 pieces. There we go. Check. Defended. And not defended by the knight, because it is pinned by my bishop. Now here, I didn't see the quickest mate. So the quickest mate is actually rook to f8. However, I saw this and I thought, look, you know, obviously they can't block with the bishop because that would be mate. But what if they blocked with the knight? And I didn't quite see mate here, but the mate is rook to g1, defended by the bishop, and every other square here is defended by my pieces. So very, very lovely mating. I didn't actually see that in game. I thought about it for quite a bit. So instead, I decided to take, whoops, hold on. Yep, I decided to take with the rook. You know, Stockfish calls it inaccuracy, but that's just because it's a slightly slower mate. It's still a mating line. They try to you know, give an extra defense with the rook, but it doesn't matter. Queen now infiltrates with check, king, and now mate. Good game, GG. My big takeaway from this game is to not sneer at the Englund Gambit. At the beginner intermediate level, it is very winning against 1d4, even if you don't play the trap lines. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.